Iggy Pop reads, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, a novel by Quentin Tarantino. Chapter 1, Call Me Marvin. The buzzer on Marvin Schwartz's desk dictaphone makes a noise. The William Morris agent's finger holds the level down on the box. Is that my 10:30 you're buzzing me about, Miss Himmelstein? Yes, it is, Mr. Schwartz. His secretary's voice pipes out of the tiny speaker. Mr. Dalton is waiting outside. Marvin pushes down the lever again. I'm ready when you are, Miss Himmelstein. When the door to Marvin's office opens, his young secretary, Miss Himmelstein, steps in first. She's a 21-year-old woman of the hippie persuasion. She sports a white miniskirt that shows off her long tan legs and wears her long brown hair in Pocahontas-style pigtails that hang down each side of her head. The handsome 42-year-old actor Rick Dalton and his de rigueur glistening wet brown pompadour follow behind her. Marvin's smile grows wide as he stands up from the chair behind his desk. Miss Himmelstein tries to do the introductions, but Marvin cuts her off. Miss Himmelstein, since I just finished watching a Rick Dalton fucking film festival, no need to introduce this man to me. Marvin crosses the distance between them, sticking out his hands for the cowboy actor to shake. Put her there, Rick. Rick smiles and gives the agent's hand a big pumping shake. Rick Dalton, thank you very much, Mr. Schwartz, for taking the time to meet me. Marvin corrects him. It's Schwartz, not Schwartz. Jesus Christ, I'm fucking this whole thing up already, Rick thinks. God damn it to hell. I'm sorry about that. Mr. Shivors. As Mr. Schwartz does a final shake of the hand, he says, Call me Marvin. Marvin, call me Rick. Rick. They let go of each other's hand. Can Miss Himmelstein get you a tasty beverage? Rick waves the offer away. No, I'm fine, Marvin insists. Are you sure nothing? Coffee, Coke, Pepsi, Simba? All right, Rick says. Maybe a cup of coffee. Good. Clapping the actor on his shoulder, Marvin turns to his young girl, Friday. Miss Himmelstein, would you be so kind as to get my friend Rick here a cup of coffee, and I'll have one myself? The young lady nods her head in the affirmative and crosses the length of the office. As she starts to close the door behind her, Marvin yells after her, Oh, and none of that Maxwell House rotgut they got in the break room. Go to Rex's office, Marvin's instructs. He's always got the classiest coffee, but none of that Turkish shit, Marvin warns. Yes, sir, Miss Himmelstein answers, then turns to Rick. How do you take your coffee, Mr. Dalton? Rick turns to her and says, Haven't you heard? Black is beautiful. Marvin lets out a klaxon-like guffaw while Miss Himmelstein covers her mouth with her hand as she giggles. Before his secretary can close the door behind her, Marvin yells out, Oh, and Miss Himmelstein, short of my wide and kids dead on the highway, hold all my calls. In fact, if my wife and kids are dead, well, they'll all just be as dead 30 minutes from now, so hold all my calls. The agent gestures for the actor to sit on one of two leather sofas that face each other, a glass-top coffee table in between, and Rick makes himself comfortable. First things first, the agent says, I send you greetings from my wife, Mary Alice Schwartz. We had a Rick Dalton double feature in our screening room last night. Wow, that's both flattering and embarrassing, Rick says. What did you see? Film prints of Tanner and the 14 Fists of McCluskey. Well, them are two of the good ones, Rick says. McCluskey was directed by Paul Wendkos. He's my favorite of all my directors. He made Gidget. I is supposed to be in that. Tommy Laughlin got my part, but then he magnanimously waves it away. But that's okay. I like Tommy. He got me in the first big play I ever did. Really? Marvin asks. You've done a lot of theater? Not much, he says. I get bored doing the same shit again and again. So Paul Wendkos is your favorite director, huh? Marvin asks. Yeah, I started out with him in my early days. I'm in his Cliff Robertson picture, Battle of the Coral Sea.